yet, and I'll mention it later. But as you may see here, I bought a ticket at 2:30, but I just because I want to get out of Hong Kong. This was my initial purpose. But anyway, this is not important. So as a result, in the first 22 years, I don't get what I want. I couldn't attend to a degree that I wanted. I wanted to be a doctor. Like you can imagine I'd be wearing a lab suit, right? I wanted to be a doctor, but I failed because I couldn't get into the science class. Failures was a lot of failures. I couldn't manage to get what I wanted. My university program, my cert examinations, all these kind of public exams, I can't get what I expected. And this is what I was 1 year ago. So now, Egypt is where I got the idea from of career. Since I went to Egypt last year, summer. So you all know how's the situation in Egypt now and in these 2 years. Some may say okay, if they heard about me, okay, you went to Egypt. Okay, some may say oh, it's so awesome. Yeah, it's quite awesome. Pyramid, yeah, Alexandria, all this kind of awesome stuff in Egypt. But more people, they'll say okay, protests. The situation is dangerous and it's messy. But most of the word I heard was, "Are you crazy? Are you crazy?" It's but as you know a bit about me, so you will know that I just want to, when I want to go there, I just go there. I didn't really listen to advices, and yeah, and that's why I was there in Egypt. So what was I doing in Egypt, you may ask? Actually, I worked in an advertising company as an intern. Worked as a creative associate. What I was doing was taking ideas for them and giving my Eastern culture to them. Say for example, I say when they think about how can they package advertisement for a company, then I give my I'm of course born in Hong Kong, so I know Jackie Chan, so you may put it there, something like that. Not exactly like that, but something like that. I went on gym, I lost 30 pounds. It's not important anyway. I went to a lot of places like Pyramid, Alexandria, Red Sea, all these kind of awesome places. So, but this is what I do most in Egypt. When I am in Hong Kong, I didn't really have chance to go to shopping. Shop in, maybe I buy snacks there, potato chips, chocolates, but I don't really shop, buy shampoo, water, this customer goods. But when I'm back in Egypt, I had a lot of chance to do it. But the situation is a bit different. In Hong Kong, plastic bags is a quite controversial issue. But back in Egypt, when I bought 3 items there, they just give me 3 bags. And when I bought 6 items there, they gave me 6 bags. Okay, here's the problem. I don't really need plastic bags, many plastic bags in my house. So I was thinking, how can I reduce that? You know, plastic bags has really ruining my life there, because I was keep thinking about it. One of the evidence I can show you is, see, I'm having these awesome photos back then, but I was holding a plastic bag. So the plastic bag is really ruining my life there. So in Egypt, I want to reduce the plastic bag in Egypt, but I didn't know the language there. I didn't know anyone there. Maybe I know my colleagues, but I didn't really know people there. And I couldn't really communicate with people, because people there, some people speak English, but most of people, they speak Arabic, so I couldn't communicate with them. So my attention goes back to Hong Kong. Okay, how can reduce the plastic bags in Hong Kong? I knew that Hong Kong government has implemented a tax scheme in plastic bag. Whenever you buy anything in supermarket, in convenience stores, they charge you 50 cents for a bag. But this is not happening in wet market. In wet market, government is wet markets are not covered in this scheme, which means you don't have to pay for plastic bags in wet market. But they are still using plastic bags. A day, wet markets are actually contributing 6 million bags a day. Imagine you dumped. Okay. Imagine that you dumped 6 million bags on sea, on landfills every day. So it's the situation is getting worse. But I also found that plastic bags is actually necessary in wet markets, because somehow when it comes to, like, say for example you buy a fish, you can only use plastic bags. You can't use anything. You can't use a paper. You can't use anything. You can just use plastic bags. So how can the only way I can solve this problem is by giving them a better plastic bags. This is what I think, and this is the truth. And then when I go on Alibaba and check on the price of plastic bags, I can see that, okay, for normal poor quality plastic bags, it's really cheap. It's like around 5 cents a bag. But for better quality, degradable plastic bags, it's charged like 20, 30 cents. Imagine that you are a market tenants. Will you buy it? Of course not. They all concerned about the margin, the cost. So, because I was working in an advertising company, or maybe I was inspired by a free newspaper business model, I thought of a solution. We want to use advertising to cover plastic bags publication costs. This is what I thought back in Egypt. After I come back in Hong Kong, I have a problem, and I have an untested solution. So what did I do? I try to test the solution, and I try to find someone to help. So these are the results I got. I try to test the solution. So I really get into the market, ask the market tenants, and see if they are having all this kind of problem. I asked advertiser, will you put an ad on plastic bags? I found an investor. He's actually a managing director of an investment bank. I found a partner, not that kind of partner, but a partner, business partner. Yeah. So this is what I found. For advertisers, they are willing to put their ads because we are selling to the right people. Actually, the buying community. Imagine that for TV ads, for print ads, you're actually not targeting the buying community. In your house, maybe the only one who would go to buy shampoo, buy conditioners, are your mother, are your grandmother, are your domestic helpers. We are actually targeting the buying community. On the other hand, we are actually selling to them while they are buying. It's important because imagine that you watch a TV ads. It's not you watch it and you forget it. But if you see the ads, you can buy it. You are more likely to buy it. On the other hand, for market stores, they don't really mind using plastic bags with logos, and all the concern is the cost. So this is where we came in, carry it. After all these findings, we found a company in July 2013 with an investor, with my business partner, and all these kind of findings. So in the future, what I actually want to do with Carriette. I can foresee, after I did a lot of researches on advertisers, let me give you an example. If you want to buy a shampoo, where will you buy it? I can think of 4 places. And these 4 places are actually occupying 90% of sales in Hong Kong. I won't name all them, but you should imagine where will you buy a shampoo. Just 4. And they occupy like 90%. How about West Market? They are just a part of the remaining 10%. And advertisers are actually, I would say they're actually manipulated by all these channels because they are occupying 90% of their sales. And I believe that West Market can have a potential to grow when it comes to a sales channel. On the other hand, for market tenants, you know how high Hong Kong's rent is, right? And market tenants are actually suffer from it a lot. So we can actually help them. If we can help them to reduce their costs and increase their revenue, this is what I want to do, out beyond plastic bags. So let me finish it fast. If you ask me what is the most important part in my experience, it's not the idea, it's not money, it's not the business plan. Although they are important somehow, but they are not the most important. The important part is people. I wouldn't say I'm important, but people are important. If you are starting up, you are the most important part, and hence the artists. You can find the artists. And yeah, I would say that without my messing around experience, I couldn't come to here and start my own company because it's really stressed because all my family they all expect me to get a government job, banking, accounting firms, but I have to really believe in myself because I've experienced so much failures and in past, and I overcome it. I believe that I can do it, and somehow this keep me running. And yeah, this is my I love this sentence so much. I forgot where I found it. That the hardest part in this experience, yes, the most rewarding part is to launch myself in a new situation. Like I've never done this, but I want to try and force myself to adapt, and this is what keep me running. And yeah, if just final like advertising time. So if you are interested in like any discussion, ask me for a coffee or any form of partnership. And if you are interested, you can also join our team. Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, thank you.
All right, so it's going to be very interesting to actually ask some questions about him and being an entrepreneur, particularly young and innovative in Hong Kong, because you are bucking every normal trend that exists, particularly at your age, right? So the next group is actually, you guys, how are you going to do it?
We'll tag team.
Tag team? They actually are, well, one is half-time, one is full-time, working on a new group called Hong Kong Recycles, also dealing with waste. And I will load it up here. Here's your, and we'll move to the Q&A after.
All right, so my name is Brian Mack. This is Mike Shump. We are the founders of HK Recycles. We're just going to do a really brief walkthrough through this presentation, nothing really formal, and then we're more just going to have a discussion about how we started and all that. So, without further ado. Great. I'm just going to roll through these facts. So basically, a lot of people know this. 2018, all landfills in Hong Kong, they should be filled up. That's in 5 or 6 years. 3% of all glass is recycled in Hong Kong. So that's 97% of glass that's not recycled. Compared to San Francisco, 80% of glass is recycled. So that's a huge difference. And so, what is HK Recycles? We are a recycling company. But another thing is that we are also a group that is looking to hire people from marginalized backgrounds. So, okay, this is where we are today, Hong Kong. I don't know if you guys have done any research on waste management in Hong Kong, but these are pretty much the facts. 40% 1.9 million tons. Homes produce about 2.4 million tons. All this stuff. And homes, they only recycle 14%. So 14% of homes recycle. So that's a huge opportunity. Okay. So how does this stack up against our peers? Well, Tokyo is 77, San Francisco is also 77, Singapore. Probably a city that's very close to Hong Kong in its demographic. It is 59%. London, 25%, Taiwan, 56%. Hong Kong, very lowly, 14%. And so let's talk about HK Recycles. What is HK Recycles? HK Recycles is what we call a multifaceted social enterprise. But let's backtrack and not call it a social enterprise. Let's call it a social business. So in Hong Kong, the phrase social enterprise means charity. A lot of people say, "Oh, you're a social enterprise. Does that mean you're nonprofit?" Well, no, we're not. And so let's change it. Let's say we are a social business. And so one of the things that Richard alluded to was there are all these companies that are trying to do good things, and that's great. It's because a lot of businesses are saying, well, it's not about the bottom line anymore. It's about how can we put append a social mission to our business. And HK Recycles was pretty much founded on this principle. How can we be a business, a for-profit making business with a social mission? And so what we've come up with is a twofold social mission to this business. The first social mission is that HK Recycles is a recycling collection service. So it collects all the recyclables that otherwise would be going to the landfill, and it helps you recycle it. The second thing is we purposefully hire people from marginalized backgrounds, so people that can't find jobs otherwise. I mean, most of the people here, I'm sure, we're in university, so for us to find jobs, some of us find jobs, it might be really hard. Imagine that you're not university educated. Imagine that you are an ex-convict. Imagine that you have some sort of mental disability. That's such a bigger challenge for you to find a job. Well, let's create a low-skilled, easy job for these people to work at. So we purposely seek these people and hire them, give them employment opportunities. And so this is where we are. HK Recycles, we started last year, late last year. We went to market August 2012. These are us, Brian and Mike. And so basically, we started it because we had an idea. The idea was, all right, well, Hong Kong doesn't really have too much recycling, and how can we provide jobs for people that can't get jobs? And so we started HK Recycles. Just going through it. Okay, so where are we now? Well, HK Recycles has been operating since last August 2012. Since then, we have recycled over 50,000 pounds